Hi there, this is John Fairhurst here with my review of David Brin's novel Sundiver. This is copyrighted in 1980 and published in this edition in 2010 by Orbit. This is the first novel in David Brin's Uplift series, and if I've got this right, I should eventually have a list of books in these series and an overview of the series as a whole linked on the end screen, so wait. Onto the reviews. In terms of genre, this is a first contact novel. I'm really not selecting my book novels to be all first contact novels, honest gov. Anyway, it's not a first contact novel between humanity and aliens from outside the solar system. That particular spaceship has been met. As this also has elements of a mystery, I'm not going too deeply into what's actually going on in the story. As it opens, we meet our protagonist, one Jason Demois, as he goes out on a development mission with one of these uplifted dolphins to test a Waldo suit that would allow dolphins to use mechanical devices as well as being a nifty jet suit. However, an old colleague of Jacob's contacts him to ask him to attend a meeting. Subject of the meeting? Confidential. Members of this meeting? Well, confidential, but you'll be interested in meeting them. All would be revealed in the meeting. The old Jacob would have jumped at this, but it's made clear that Jacob has suffered a serious injury, both mentally and physically. But the wily Fagin knew his man, and Jacob finally agrees to attend this meeting. Anyway, on the way to this meeting, we get a look at a couple of the major splits in this society, the skins and shirts split and the citizen and probationer split. The first, shirts and skins, is largely there for comedic effect as far as I can see. The shirt is basically an overriding term given to the groups who see the aliens as either potential patrons or past patrons. Whilst the skins take the view that humanity developed alone and the aliens can go hang. The split between citizen and probationer is a bit more serious and strikes at the heart of the book's message. The citizens are those who are full members of society and are deemed to be as stable as it's possible to be. Probationers aren't necessarily openly evil and or likely to become serial killers, but a mandatory testing has deemed that they are open to unsanctioned violence, and just to make sure they're all kept under observation, as anyone rated as a probationer has a miniature radio transmitter implanted, so no leaving that at home. This isn't necessarily thought of as a good thing by enlightened citizens, but the average citizen is pretty much okay with the situation, and this latter point plot may play a part in ensuing events. Anyway, back to the book, Mysterious Meeting, and Jacob is informed that there is something strange going up in the sun's chromosphere, and would he mind going to excuse me, would he mind going to visit the Sundiver project and taking a look? Pretty please. Given that the meeting consists of the head of the Sundiver project, the Library Institute's liaison to the project, and the head of the library's Earth branch, both of these are being alien, and Jacob's old friend Fagin, who is also an alien and is a representative of the Innovations Institute, Jacob finds himself reluctantly agreeing to go up and seeing what's going on, particularly as no one is going into details as to what is actually going on until he agrees to go. To cut a longish story shorter, he does agree to join the investigation, and we get to see a space elevator trip up to the orbit and a quick journey to Mercury. And our first indication that Jacob isn't entirely as straightforward as he initially appears. And Finally, the group are on their way to the Mercury, where they are off on a ghost hunt. Sundiver was an innovative attempt to make very close-up studies of the sun using a mixture of humans and alien technology. Some of these missions had reported life forms in the region of the sun that had the chromosphere where the Sundivers operated in. It looked like there were 3 types of creatures, 2 toroidal life forms and 1 that took on a more humanoid life form. But not all forms proved to be consistently recordable, and 1 may prove to be potentially hostile indeed. Are the Sundiver crews going insane? Or is there something else going on? Pretty much against his own better judgment, Jacob finds himself getting deeply involved in the ongoing mysteries. We get treated to a fairly interesting mystery which unfortunately does involve a murder, as Jacob finds himself caught up in multiple layers of clues, again muddling what wasn't a particularly simple thing in the first place. The Sundiver project is getting caught up with a plot by one of the alien races in this story against a patron who they believed had abused their position, and by the local library representative who believed that humanity was overstepping its bounds by appearing to be the first race to find the presence of creatures living in their local sun. Anyway, it appears that the central mystery of the solar creatures is fairly well wrapped up. Not everything, but the remaining mystery becomes a long-term research project rather than something that has to be answered here and now. However, the underlying split between citizen and probationer is brought up at the end and is sort of left hanging, though again there are suggestions on how this could be alleviated, but this would need to take several generations to overcome. And again, this would appear to be a possible plot hook into the rest of the series, but you'll have to read the rest of those books to see if it actually turns out to be the case. Brin manages a fair degree of exposition on the structure of the sun in a reasonably delicate fashion, along with a fictitious, alas, history of the development of the Sundiver probes, and manages a series of info dumps on some of the aliens involved, somewhat clunkily from a perspective of a 21st century observer, though probably not so much from the 24th century space travellers, rather ironically enough. And that's it. Hopefully you've liked what you've heard about this book, and I've done my best to give you a feel for this book without giving away too many plot points, and thank you for listening. Goodbye. If you've enjoyed listening to this commentary and would like to hear other reviews, please click on the like and subscribe buttons and click the notification button to be notified of the next review. You'll also find Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk affiliate links to the book in the description below. This gives me a commission on any purchases you make while following these links, whilst not costing you any extra. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.